Hi, my name is Jeremy Zentner. I'm a pre-sales architect for Sikich, a professional services firm outside of Chicago, Illinois. Today I'll be covering a presentation on Dynamics 365 for finance and operations. And we'll take a quick look at capitalizing a fixed asset. Dynamics 365 has a robust project management and accounting module. This module allows for tracking of various project types, including time and material, fixed price, cost, and investment projects. Today we'll focus on investment projects that can be capitalized into a fixed asset. Project Management Workspace allows me to get a great overview of all the existing projects, filtered down by projects associated to me, project templates, active timesheets, as well as analytics. In addition to grid tiles of information, I get list pages to easy access of information. I'll go ahead and filter down to my office remodel project right now. When looking at my project, I can see a number of various pieces of information. What type of project it is, what stage the project is in, who's the project manager, as well as start and projected end dates. The project stage and project type are extremely important because they allow and disallow certain functionality, as well as what transactions are allowed. The investment type project will allow me to enter expenses against the project, capture those costs, and then capitalize the cost when ready. Under related information, posted transactions, I can see the various transactions that have been posted against this project. Here I can see there are several item charges or purchase orders totaling, as you can see, a certain cost amount as well as a sales amount if this was a revenue generating project. Now that we have some invoice transactions against the project, let's take a look at the project reporting to see what that looks like. There are several standard reports that we can run to get a good look at our project. Let's take a look at the project statements for today's example. Here I can select various parameters and criteria that I want to run against the project. Things like actual versus budget, project date versus ledger date, and which transactions to include. When I click calculate, the system's going to run and pull all the transactions that have been posted against this project that fit that criteria. As you can see, I have some item purchases there and some costs that are accrued or posted against the project. As I click through the various tabs of the report, you can see things like profit and loss statements, WIP, what has been consumed against the project, as well as what has been invoiced. Now that we've gotten a good look at our project, understand what transactions are there, we need to post the estimate. When creating an estimate and running the process, the system is essentially pulling all the costs that have been accumulated against the project into an estimate, which then can be eliminated into a fixed asset for depreciation and further processing. And now I just need to select the correct estimate date of the period, and I can actually run that estimate and pull those costs in. On the estimate form, I can see many of the same things that I saw within the project statement, things like a profit and loss, WIP, consumption, and much more. Within the General tab, I can see what period code was assigned, when the estimate date was run, and completion method. Under the WIP tab, I can see WIP cost item values, as well as total WIP costs. Under the Consumption tab, you can see items that have been consumed and what is yet to be capitalized. The next step in the process is to assign a fixed asset so that we can eliminate these costs to that asset. Once I go over to the General tab, you can see I have an option to eliminate to a ledger account or to a fixed asset. I'll select the correct fixed asset, which is tied to an asset book which controls depreciation and other accounting methods. Once I have the asset selected, I will post these costs, and then I can eventually eliminate those costs into the value of the fixed asset. Once I've reviewed the various reporting elements, I can run the elimination process. Now that the process is complete, let's take a look at our fixed asset to see the transactions and the values that have been pushed over from the projects module into the fixed assets module. On the asset itself, you can see depreciation method, valuations, books, things of that nature. When looking at the valuations, you can see them in the various books that have been set up. From these valuation reports, you can actually click on the values and drill down to the transactional detail that sits below the actual valuation itself. Here you can see the transaction date, the voucher, and the acquisition as a transaction type. This details form displays the voucher transactions and the ledger activity that occurred throughout the project and the capitalization of the fixed asset itself. If needed, I can drill down to the transaction origin, the transactions, or the audit trail that makes up these different transaction lines. Well, that's all the time we have for today. Thanks for taking a quick look at Dynamics 365 for Finance and Operations with me, Jeremy Sentner, a pre-sales architect at Sikich.